Hello, friend, and welcome. If you're new to the collective, I'm real excited to meet you, and if you're returning, I hope you're having a much better day than last time we talked. In my readings, I like to blend intuitive messages with some shadow work along with tarot and oracle cards. This is to help you see yourself clearly, to help you grow, to help you heal. And each reading is meant to guide you on your inner transformation, to help guide you along your journey one step at a time. And today I'm feeling real called to actually start with the tarot cards. Because, as always, being the solution oriented reader that I am, we need to get to the root of the issue. And you're going to be like, Kirsten, it's real obvious what's going on in my life. Like, I can see what my problem is. Yes, you can see what the symptoms of your problem are. I want to get to the root cause. I want to get to what is, like, what has you here and what keeps you, like, receiving this pattern over and over again that we're trying to break, that we're trying to not be a part of. So let's just get the tarot cards to give us some information here. Let me just a few more help. That card. Oh, these two cards. Okay. Really wanted to come out. First card that we have is the Knight of Cups in its reverse position. So knights like to go, they like to move, they like to do. Cups is that emotion, it's that heart space. And this knight is here to say that we really need to open up our heart and express our emotions and even maybe be a little bit vulnerable. You know, sometimes it's not even about being vulnerable to other people as much as it is being vulnerable to ourselves, admitting to ourselves what it is that's really affecting our heart space. The reason why I'm saying this in a way that sounds like it's a hard lesson is because this knight is reversed. When I have a knight that's reversed, it means that we're resisting, and it means that we are shutting down and we're like trying to push the brakes and we're not allowing ourselves to move forward. And when the Knight of Cups is in its reverse position, it's a need to express yourself and to be honest with yourself. And it's one of those things where, yeah, it's important that you're honest with other people, but if you're not even honest with yourself, how can you be honest with other people? So when I see this Knight of Cups, I see you being asked to really look into your heart center and to be honest about what it is that you're going through and how you feel. And I'm not just talking about, well, I'm miserable because I'm in debt and I don't have money and I can't get more money and I need to pay bills. I'm talking about like what's even deeper than that, because again, that's the symptom. That's not necessarily just the cause. And this is coming from someone who's done years of shadow work, who has had to break through same and similar barriers, only to find out that my symptoms, like what I was experiencing, was caused by something deeper. So I don't just say this lightly. Then we have the Four of Wands in its upright position. Four of Wands is about unity and bringing stability. Wands are that fire, action-oriented suit. And yes, this card clearly looks like a marriage, and it is typically considered the marriage card. But the reason why it's considered that is because you're bringing together two families when you get married, which will help begin to create a more solid foundation within like the idea of it being with family and creating something new. Now, Four of Wands, you could be getting married, but I really think more along what we're going for here is that right now, what you're doing, the actions that you're working on, the things that you're doing are creating a new foundation. You are creating a new foundation. You are working on something. You're working on a new like routine. You're working on a new structure in your life. And it might not be you and somebody else. Most of the time it's not. A lot of times for me, the Four of Wands is about me pulling to my parts of myself together and marrying myself to myself. So marrying my darkness to my reality, marrying my light to what I am. And it's one of those things where, yeah, it's easy to say, you know, hey, I'm going to start, you know, changing my life. I'm going to start eating healthier. I'm going to start walking. I'm going to start journaling. It is all easy to say all those things. But when you start putting those things into action, that's when you start creating a foundation that's long lasting. Then we have the Ace of Coins in its reverse position. I want to remind you that coins is not just about finances, it's about time and energy, because you spend time and you spend energy. And aces are always about new beginnings. So this ace is telling me that right now you kind of have like a blank canvas in front of you. Whenever I see the Ace of Pentacles, for me, it's always just a blank canvas, and it's up to you to decide what to do with it. And when it's reversed, you're being paralyzed by the blank canvas. You're being paralyzed by, you know, what the thing is in front of you. So I said how pentacles or coins in this matter is not just about, you know, finances, it's about your time and energy, because you spend time and you spend energy. Well, And right now I see that you have extra energy and extra time and you don't know what to do with it. And it's daunting because you had everything more scheduled out for you. You had, a regimen, you knew what to do. And now you're just like, well, shit, how do I fill in this space? What do I do with it? And instead of, kind of fucking around, finding out, aligning your inner child to explore, you're just sitting there like, I don't want to screw this up. If I screw this up, I'm never going to be able to redeem myself. And that's not true. You need to allow yourself to explore. You need to allow yourself to see what it is that you can do, what it is you can create. And if you make a mistake, you make a mistake. It's part of the process. Then we have the Four of Cups in its reverse position. This is telling me that there is something that you're going after, that it's a dream, it's a, goal, it's something. And it's something that you have put a lot of thought into. Why I know this is because with the Four of Cups in its reverse position, you have that Northern Star. That's what I like to call it. Or a pipe dream. That's what other people call it. But I call it the Northern Star because this is something big that you want to go after. But when it's in its reverse position, you need to remember that you need to do the mundane. That yes, you can, work towards that multi-million-dollar business. You can work towards that promotion. You can work towards, being that actress or that singer or that artist that you want to be. You can do all of that. What you need to also remember is that on your journey to do all that, you still need to pay the bills. You still need to do your laundry. You still need to make sure you're eating properly. You still need to take care of your health. All of the other stuff is part of the journey. So continue to, incorporate all of that as you move forward. And then our last tarot card is the Nine of Swords in its reverse position. This is all about you just not being able to sleep, your mind and your thoughts just keeping you up, turning over and over again. It's a really anxious and desperate card. One of those things where every time I see it, I'm reminded of what it's like to be in my 20s, because in my 20s, instead of allowing myself to, deal with those thoughts and emotions, I did what most people do in their 20s. I drank away, a good portion of my years. Not the best way to go about it, but sorry, I'm not even sure why I brought that up. I mean, yeah, I said that's what I said when I see the Nine of Swords in its reverse position, but I guess somebody needed to hear that. When the Nine of Swords is in its reverse position, though, you're aware that these thoughts aren't serving a purpose. It's not like, surprise! It's like, how do I stop these thoughts? Why do they keep plaguing me? What is it that I have to do to get rid of them? Hear me out. I'm going to say something a little controversial, and it's not what most love and light people believe in, but here we are. In order to get those thoughts out of your head, you need to write them down. You need to get them out. You need to say them. And you're going to be like, Kirsten, if I write or say negative things that goes against manifesting, blah, blah, blah. No, whatever, okay? Let's get real. If there's something that's trapped in your head, if it's stress, if it's worry, if it's negative thoughts, if it's bad things about yourself, you need to get it out of your head. And only two ways to do that is to say it out loud or to verbalize it. Or to say it out loud or to write it down. You need to get it out. So what you're going to do, and the best way to deal with it, is to write down every bad thing that's in your head, all the bad scenarios, everything. I don't care if you're writing books, do it. And then, look it over and say, that's not my truth, that's not my reality, and then write what is actually there, and then focus on that. And this isn't going to be a one and done process. This is I do this a lot over and over again process, and eventually the brain realizes, oh, we're okay. Things aren't terrible. Think of it like when you do dishes, okay? Say you haven't done dishes in, 3 months. You have 3 months worth of dishes. Yes, that means you have a lot of plates, silverware, and pans. I get it, in a huge kitchen. But stick with me here. You have 3 months worth of dishes that you have to do. And you end up finally doing one load of dishes in the dishwasher. Cool. Awesome. You now have some clean dishes. And now that you have clean dishes, you can get a full night's rest. One load of dishes is you writing in your journal and letting everything out. But you still have all these other dishes that you have to do, and moving forward, you're still going to be getting those clean dishes dirty. So every day you do another load of dishes, you do another load of dishes every day. But every day you're still making dishes. And it's not that every day you're making a dishwasher load of dishes. No, you're only making like 1 or 2 or 3 plates dirty. But my point is when you have, 3 months worth of dishes to clean, and you are only doing one load at a time in the dishwasher, It's going to take you a couple days, a couple weeks to get through the whole thing. And that's okay, because it's part of the process. So, this Nine of Swords, you getting it out, it's not going to be, an overnight thing. You got to work through it. Because right now, you are working on something. I can see that. I can see that you're working towards something. But we're not being honest and vulnerable about how we feel about this, and we're letting those thoughts, even though we know they're not good for us, they're like controlling us and pulling us in a certain direction, and it's making things difficult. Alright, now I want to kind of ask the cards. Actually, I'm going to move this over here. Because I want to know more about these limiting beliefs and these emotions that are keeping us stuck. But I also kind of want to know about what's going on with, this new foundation that we're creating, the blank canvas that we're kind of staring at, and the stream that we're going after. Because they are all very connected. I could feel that. So first, let's get more information on these over here that are saying, hey, we got some things that we're going through that we're feeling aren't great for us, that are limiting us. Oh, one more card for this side. Alright, and then, that one's gonna stay there. And then on this side, we are going to find out more about the stream that you're going after, what it is that you're trying to create, or that you're actively creating. That card. Actually, this one, because this one flew. So the first thing that literally flew and got added to this, as you saw, is the wall. Obstacles. Obstacles this card's gonna feel like a slap on the face, I know. Here's the deal though. How are you looking at the obstacles? How are you looking at the things that you're up against right now? Are you just seeing it as something that's keeping you from obtaining what it is that you need to do? Or are you allowing it to see it as a lesson of some sort that can teach you? You're gonna be like, don't give me this bull, Kirsten. Like, I don't want to hear how the struggles that I'm going through are for my better, yada, yada, yada. Look, I get it. No one wants to hear that this is happening for you and not to you when you feel like you're up against a mountain and you're, looking at a hard place in a rock, okay? Get it. Trust me, I've been there. Here's the deal, though. I have been through so many low points, and I don't know how many different rock bottoms I've hit in my life. And it was some of those times it was like, oh, it can't get any worse, and then boom, okay, nope, there's a new bottom that I just found. Like, I've been there. But every obstacle, way after the fact, after I got past it, taught me a lesson, taught me something about myself, helped me learn. To the point where I'm at now, it's one of those where I'm like, I find an obstacle and I'm like, okay, look, I'm not happy about this. I'm pissed off about what I'm seeing. I don't want to deal with this, but what's this going to teach me? What am I going to learn? Just help me figure this out and get this over. Like, that's literally my attitude whenever I have to deal with obstacles. So my question to you is, how are you dealing with these obstacles? Are you seeing them as a chance to learn? Are you seeing them as a chance to, learn more, get past something, to figure something out, to, maybe that you're being rerouted or a detour? Or are you just taking it as punishment? Because if you're just taking it as punishment, it's going to feel like punishment and you're not going to learn anything. Closing door, completion. So typically when I get this card, I feel like, you are at a completion, like it's a 10 card. But for the first time and ever that I've seen this card, I'm paying attention to the fact that there's a 5 on here. And I feel like you're trying to close a door that's not ready to be closed. Which is confusing for me. Not that you're trying to close a door that you want to close that's not ready. That part makes sense. I'm just really confused because, again, this card has always been a finale card for me, and here I am, I'm like, this energy is completely different than how I normally read it. So let's talk about the fact that we're trying to force a door closed that's not ready to be closed. Yes, the door that you're trying to close will eventually close. Yes, the door that you are trying to close is necessary for it to close. But there's still 1 or 2 more things you have to do in order to close it. and it's an action that you have to do. This isn't a thought process. This isn't a paradigm shift. This isn't shadow work. This is literally an action that you need to do. Do you need to block somebody? Do you need to, get the rest of your stuff out of somebody's house? Do you need to, clean off your desk from, a job scenario? Like, there's something unfinished that keeps pulling you back into this door, and it's keeping you from being able to close it all the way. For some of you, it's that you might not even be able to completely close this. If this is a family thing and children are involved, sometimes we can't completely close the door, and we have to figure out what that looks like. But this says completion, so no matter what the scenario is, and no matter how the door closes, you have to understand that you still need to close your portion of the door. If children are involved and you're working with an ex or something like that, you can still close a portion of the door. You can't close the part where the other person's a parent, but you can close off your part of the heart that, has any feelings of romantic feelings towards them. You can still put those boundaries in place that keep you and your family protected. You can still do things and that say, okay, I can't shut this down completely, but I can do things. And if this isn't for, like someone who's working with custody or, another parent or something like that, if we're working with a work environment or something along those lines, are you just talking to your old work people so you can find out work gossip and stuff like that? Because that's another way that you're still not closing a door, because you're still actively going back into the door, even though it may not be the actual office, but you're still allowing yourself into that toxic space and wondering why it's still bothering you and popping up. Then we have Feast of Plenty, choices and their consequences. So that 100% explains this Nine of Swords card that we're talking about here. Because if we have choices and we're thinking about their opportunities, we're not doing anything. We're just being in our head, which I've been there. I'm not judging that. I know what that's like. But when you're just, thinking about the choices and the consequences and trying to figure everything out, again, you need to get it out of your head. You need to get it onto paper. You need to talk to someone about it. Okay, how many times have you ever flipped a coin, for like heads to be something or tails to be something? And say it's for dinner. Heads, you're going to an Italian restaurant. Tails, you're going to sushi. And you flip it, and all of a sudden you're like, I really want it to be tails. But you didn't know you wanted it to be tails until you flipped it. This is kind of what this card represents, specifically with the being paired with Nine of Swords here. It's saying that you need to give yourself the chance to really think about what it is that you want to do, but it's not going to be done by thinking anymore. It's going to be done by talking it out with other people or writing it down on paper, by letting your brain actively work out a scenario. It's not about you sitting in bed anymore or you sitting in your car and just trying to play it in your head. You literally have to try to actively work it out. Maybe even just do a little role play in your kitchen, and you can be like, Kirsten, I don't have anyone here. That sounds weird. Okay, fine. You know what? Use props. Use stuffed animals. Use a mug if you have to. Actively work out what it is that you're trying to figure out, because I'm telling you right now, staying in your head is not going to be the way that's going to get you the answers. And this is everything to do with that blank canvas thing that I was talking about. You need to start doing the thing. You need to start doing something with what you have. And then once you start doing something like that flip of the coin, you'll figure out what it is that you want. The Crossing, initiation. Okay, how ironic is it that this card is called the Crossing, the initiation, and then on this side is what we're building? Okay, Spirit's got jokes, whatever. So, the Crossing, initiation. This shows a portal and a very scary looking bridge. And it's one of those where, you have to take the risk in order to get to the next side. You have to, be willing to face your fears and do what you need to do to get to the other side. You can't stay on the one side of the bridge forever and be like, why am I not getting there? Why am I not making it? Why am I not crossing over? I really want to look at these next two cards now that I know this is called the Crossing. Okay. So this is not how I typically set up my readings. This was really spur of the moment. And it's just, again, ironic that I split everything up and then this card is the Crossing, the initiation. So over here, we have straddling worlds, wandering between realms. Okay, so this really tells me that you are really wrestling with what it is that you're trying to decide on. And it's not that you're wrestling with the decision. Like, you know what you want to do. You know what your goal is. You know what that North Star is. It's what that 4 cups that we talked about. But what you don't know is you don't know how to bring that reality into your current reality. And it's a struggle because I get it. What you're wanting to do, what you're wanting to become is so much bigger than where you are now. And you don't even understand how to get there. Well, when you're wandering between the realms, you just have to start making steps. Start doing. And that could be you, putting aside 30 minutes a night to get you to that goal. And you're like, Kirsten, yeah, but like, I want to be big. I get it. But you need to start taking baby steps before you can start walking. And before you start walking, or you need to start walking before you can start running. And before you start doing races, you need to, actually train. Like, it's one of those things where you have to start now with what you have. In whatever capacity that looks like, but you need to start now. First breath, beginner's mind. Okay, so literally just talking about, taking baby steps and starting. If you needed more confirmation that that's what you needed to do, here it is. Beginner's mind, first breath. You literally just need to start doing whatever it is to get you there. If you're trying to become, a singer or a dancer or something, start singing or dancing in your house. If you're trying to write music, start writing lyrics, start putting things together. You don't know how to, use a mixer on your computer? Frickin' look up a YouTube tutorial. Teach yourself. A lot of the greats, we all taught ourselves. Not all of us, but most of us taught ourselves. Yes, a lot of us had some formal education, but I can tell you I had no formal education for any of this. I had no formal education on how to be a tarot reader, no formal education on how to edit videos, no formal education on how to YouTube. I just kind of figured it all on my own, and that's what, is going on in today's world. There is a plethora of information and free intellectual, information that you can have at your disposal. And then it's up to you to actually do the research and do it. Because part of what's keeping you trapped, and I see this clearly now, part of what's keeping you trapped, this obstacle, it's a self-imposed obstacle. And it's one of those where it's like, yes, there's stuff you still need to learn. Yes, there is still stuff that you don't have access to. And yes, that is an obstacle. But here's the thing. Start figuring it out. Start teaching yourself. Start learning. Start making mistakes. Start doing whatever it is you can, because the more you do that, the more that obstacle isn't there. This door that needs to be closed is you just actually stepping into the decision. 100% stepping into the decision instead of going, I don't know, maybe, it's not right. I can't do it. I'll start tomorrow. We need to step into the decision. We need to be honest to ourselves. We need to be real about how we feel about this. And we need to understand that our choice to do nothing is keeping us where we're at. So we need to go over this bridge. We need to do this crossing. We need to start doing the thing. We need to start doing whatever that scary thing is, whatever that vulnerable thing is, whatever that thing that we are excited to do but also terrify us. We need to do it. Do you need to go back to school? Do you need to, spend 30 extra minutes somehow in your life to be able to do something, to create something, to be something, to practice something? Do you have to, wake up early in the morning to give yourself that time? What is it that you have to do so that way you can start bridging the realms and bringing that into your life, that dream that you're trying to get, and that whatever it is you're trying to create, because you have a foundation. You're creating the foundation for this, but you have to understand that yes, you have to start as a beginner. You have to start with the basics. You have to start with baby steps. You don't give yourself that ability, you're never going to get the chance to walk and run. Now I want to ask the cards just for some answers on how to get us started, how to get us into those baby steps, how to get us past this fear and into action. Oh, well, okay. That seemed very clear. We have, look at the big picture before you react. Okay, so this kind of goes back to this Knight of Cups being in its reverse position. And like the obstacle, when we're being faced with something, we need to allow ourselves to kind of like come back and see, okay, is this something that's going to be a complete like stopping point, or is this just a slight detour? Look at the big picture before you react as a reminder that sometimes we get so just center focused and it almost like we're zoomed in way too much. And because we're just zoomed in way too much, we get aggravated about the smallest detail when really we just need to completely zoom out. When we zoom out, we're like, oh, that's just a blimp. That's just a small little setback that in the big picture lasted a couple hours. It wasn't that big of a deal, even though at the time it felt like a big deal because again, we were just so like zoomed in, we were so focused. Embrace the pause between where you were and where you are. So allow yourself to see where you started, even if where you started was just yesterday or a month ago or, 2 months ago. Allow yourself the chance to be like, I have made decisions, I have made differences. And pay attention to what those differences are. Because where you were, that Knight of Swords is telling me was in a worse place than where you are now. And where you are now still is uncomfortable, still itchy, still not great, I get it. But you've moved. You're not staying stuck. You're not being stagnant. So embrace the pause between where you were and where you are. And allow yourself to be thankful for what you have done. Oh. Shine a light on what works well for you today. This card actually blends perfectly well with this look at the big picture before you react, because it's real easy to get caught up in the aggravation of the day. It's real easy to get caught up in, the just drama of your day and to remember all the bad thing that happens, because literally our brain does focus on the bad things. But when you can remember to shine a light on what worked well for you at some point in the day, if you can do it multiple times a day, awesome. I only guarantee that I do that at night every night. And it's one of those where I practice my gratitude, and while I'm closing my eyes and I'm getting ready for bed, like I'm in bed just trying to fall asleep, I find 5 things I'm thankful for. Some days that's easier said than done. Some days I'm literally thankful for the fact that I have clean air, that the sun is shining, that there was a breeze on my face. And it sounds all wonderful and great as I'm saying this out loud in a video, but it's one of those things where I'm saying it, I feel really shallow and hollow about saying it, because I'm literally being thankful for the same thing everyone receives. But that's the point. You can always find things that are good for you in that day. Sometimes it's more in depth from that. Sometimes I'm really thankful for, the fact that I made a really good meal, or that my husband did something really cute for me and, went out of his way to get me something that I needed. Sometimes I'm thankful for, the fact that a friend thought of me and gave me a gift. That's not every day, but those are, that happens on days too. And other things I'd be thankful for are you guys having the ability to do these readings for you. And you just need to find what it is that makes you thankful, that, is going right for you, because sometimes those are your only guiding lights that lead you forward. And on the hard days, it's the only little bit of hope and love that you can find that day, and you just need to take it. Now I just want to ask for some affirmations to help us move forward, to help us create what it is that we need to create, to help us find the joy, find that light, and help us to understand what it is that we need to move forward. All right. I am worthy of respect and acceptance. So whatever this decision that you made, whatever it is that you are trying to build or create, you're worthy of it, and it's worthy of it. And it's worthy of the same respect that you're worthy over. So here's the thing. You need to remember that people aren't always going to be happy when you try to change, when you try to do things different. People often look down and get scared and worried because of their own self-limiting beliefs and, issues. So remember that you are worthy of respect and acceptance. And if people are trying to stop you or tell you that it's not good or it's not going to work and belittle you for what it is that you're going after, they're not respecting you, and they're definitely not accepting you. So remember that you're worthy of that. And if, that's one of those things that you need to do to close that door is let go of some of those people or do the thing despite their opinions, then do it. I am blessed with an amazing family and friends. So this one I love to see because it's easy to say. But if you don't have a large family or you have a few amount of friends, this one might feel like a slap in the face. So whenever I see this, I ask you to remember who it is that you do have. If you, only have 1 or 2 people in your life, be thankful for them. Be thankful for them and realize the blessing that you have, because there are some people out there who literally have nobody. And it's a tough place to be. So be thankful for the family and friends that you have made that are still with you. And even if it's the family you had to create, it doesn't have to be a blood related family. If it's still family to you, then it's family. I am safe and sound and all is well. Again, this is another one where this is circumstantial, but you have to find safety in what it is that you are doing. You have to find safety in your own home, in your own heart, in your own place. So when I used to live in not safe environments, when I would try to convince myself that I was safe, it wasn't that I would lie to myself and say I'm safe. No, I would find the safe places and I would, find, what's the word I'm looking for? I would find respite and just comfort in those spaces. And then when I started to live on my own and I was in safe spaces always, this is something that I had to remember. And I had to tell myself a lot because my childhood wasn't safe. My adult life, it took a lot for me to remember that I am safe. So when you see this card and it says, I am safe and sound and all is well, again, find what's working for you. Find what is working for you. Find what is well. And don't lie to yourself if everything's on fire. Don't say I'm fine, everything's fine. Get out the burning fire. Get out the dumpster fire. But find a safe space. Find a safe place so that way you can find peace, at least for a little bit. Everything works out for my highest good. Yes, I know this is a slap in the face. And I literally talked about that with that obstacle card. I talked about it with the 9 of Swords. I talked about it with the Knight of Cups a little bit. It's one of those things where it's really aggravating when you're in the middle of it to hear that everything is happening for you and not to you, when you're the one who's like, I've just hit rock bottom, I've lost everything, I don't even know how I can come from this, I don't know how I can get better than this, like I am at desolate state. I've been there, and I wanted to punch people who said this to me. We're getting this. This means that what you're going through has purpose, has reason. I'm not saying you shouldn't be angry. I'm not saying you shouldn't be mad. I'm not saying you shouldn't cry. You should do all those things. You should get angry. You should get mad. You should cry. You should express those emotions. You need to 100% express those emotions. This Knight of Cups is all about that. Everything works out for my highest good is that reminder that, yeah, what you're going through sucks. But something great will come of this. But it's a matter of you crossing that bridge, going through the initiation, taking those baby steps, and allowing yourself to move so that way you can see that space that you created and see how far you've grown and how far you've come and find true peace. If you have any questions or concerns about how any of this applies to you in the sense of like how to take those baby steps or how to, reflect and actually be open up and vulnerable, hit me up in the comments. I will do my best to answer your questions. We do have a collective and we're here to support each other as well. And if you want more information about your specific situation, there's a link in the description below for private readings. Go ahead and hit me up there. I do have some available dates still. And this is all I have for you today. I wish you the best luck. I cannot wait to know how much farther you've come along from where we started and the next time we see each other. And I will see you again soon. Bye-bye.